Welcome to the O'Colly Tipoff Show. I'm your host, Zach Berger, joined by my two co-hosts, Steven Spears, Max Chard.
Yes,
Guys, how you doing today?
I'm good.
Great,
we got
Back in
basketball.
school.
Oh,
Could
we
be
got
better.
basketball. And not only do we have basketball, but we got Bedlam basketball.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
do it. Bedlam.
It's a great night, great game, atmosphere. Everyone's ready for this. But I think before we get into this game, it's been a while since we had a show. So I think I want to talk about kind of what's been happening for OSU basketball over this holiday break.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. A good win against Wichita State on the road, and then you get that win against the Gimme and Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Yeah. And then you lose a heartbreaker in Lawrence, which I thought we had that game. I really did.
Yeah, no, it was a really good game. Starting off Big 12 play, and you're in Lawrence, and I agree. I thought we had that game, and
yeah.
Just felt like it slipped.
I think we were in a group chat talking about it.
Yeah, we were.
Bryce Thompson revenge game went off for 23.
Yeah.
With that phantom call at the end of the game, where from my viewpoint that was a foul.
Look, it seemed like it. It's hard to tell, but if we're being honest here, that's a hard call to get in Lawrence.
Yeah,
it's a hard call to get in Lawrence in fog.
Get the number 4 team in the nation at that point at home. Yeah, the referee's gonna swallow the whistle every time there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, KU could very easily have 4 losses to conference play right now.
Yeah, they've got some close games. So we went from a very tight 2-point loss in Lawrence, and then we came back home, played West Virginia, and we really just took care of business that game.
Yeah, I think that's a game that it was probably a must win, honestly, early on. A home game in this type of conference needs to be mostly wins, and that was a good start, I think.
For sure.
You got to protect home court. I mean, that's essential, especially in this conference. The strength of schedule we got going on right now, man. I mean, any win you can get, you got to get.
Yeah,
so.
For sure. No, it was a nice refresher. I feel like after of course a really tough loss, they came back home and they took care of business. But after that, it's been a string of some rough games for sure.
Yep.
So after that, we stayed home, took on UT, and it wasn't a pretty one to say the least.
Well, UT, man, you got to look at it too. Since they let go of their coach. They lost that first game. Mm-hmm. From that point on, I think it's like 5 straight.
Yeah.
So they're in a tear right now. I mean, we caught them at the wrong time.
They got hot, and then they, of course, they got beat last night actually against Iowa State. That was their first loss in a few games, and it was a game where the defense looked very strong for 40 minutes. The offense looked good for about 17 minutes. That was the problem.
Yeah, that definitely a rough one. And then after that, we follow up with the game at Kansas State. Honestly, a really close one for a while. They did have the lead, but we kind of kept within distance, and at the end, it just seemed that the Wildcats could pull away.
Kansas State's one of those teams that it's weird to me because they're ranked number 11 in the country. It's going to go up, obviously, after last night, but they're ranked that high and kind of fly under the radar. Like, nobody's talking about them right now.
Yeah.
They got a lot of transfer guards that came in to help contribute. Crazy.
They're a talented roster, and they're just another team in the Big 12 gauntlet that is a top 25 team and going to be probably a top 5 seed in the tournament, along with 4 other teams probably.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before, how good the Big 12 is. I mean, I think it's almost undefeated. It's the best basketball conference all around. I mean, I know. Listen, I'm
learning.
I know there's more. I know, but overall, for how many teams are consistently good, the Big 12 is really good, and I think that's why Kansas State flies under the radar so much, just because how much they're able to, almost right under those top teams.
Just looking over our schedule, man, it's like so many teams ranked in the top 25. I think like the remaining schedule is like 8 games left in the top 25.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's a madhouse in the Big 12.
You turn around, you get Oklahoma, an unranked team tonight, of course. You turn around and you've got at Texas, 7th in the country, and then, you get Iowa State first, then Texas, both ranked in the top 15. Iowa State being 12, and they're gonna go up after beating Texas.
So really close game there too. We did lose by 8, but it felt a little closer until the very end. It seemed like they pulled away. And then last week, going into Baylor, going into Waco, it just really wasn't a pretty one either there.
Yeah, no, and Waco's a tough place to play. It's a great team, great coach. Scott Drew knows what he's doing over there. They've won a title 2 years ago now, I believe, right? So, I mean, and that happens. I had a rough game offensively and defensively, and no team's perfect, and you kind of have to play perfect, honestly.
Yeah. Well, loss for the 5, but now it's all about tonight, right?
Absolutely.
It's Bedlam. It's the series that no matter what sport, OSU's looking forward to. So just right off the bat in general, what are you looking forward to in this game? Right off the bat, quick first thoughts.
I mean, this is my first time experiencing this Bedlam.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
Like, it's a robbery right here.
Right.
All we
Like,
need, right?
like the environment is the main thing I'm looking forward to seeing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're back in school, so you got like students going to be in the student section getting crazy and everything like that. I want to see the environment. Like, this team is going to need us to help fill them on for this win.
Yeah.
Tonight.
I am very curious to see how the environment is. You know, I thought the environment was pretty good against Texas, and no students were back in town yet. We were still on break. So I'm curious to see how it looks tonight with teams back in, and it's Bedlam. I think it'll be a great environment. We had the pep rally thing last night with Mike Boynton led, and they had a little practice. So, you know, that was a great thing, I think. And I think we're really excited for tonight. And I'm going to see how we respond after taking one on the chin against Baylor.
For sure. Yeah, you know, you talk about first game back in Gallagher Iba with students back from their break. And it's something I've noticed, not just in basketball, but in general, when OSU Athletics has the support of their students and they're hyped, it brings those games up to another level.
Same thing like Texas in football.
Right.
Man. Like,
Yeah,
that
right.
atmosphere was like electric.
Yeah.
Like, you had like Texas fans and Oklahoma State fans in the crowd just talking like all chummy and everything, but it was still competitive at the same time. Like, my first time experiencing like that, man, I want to see it tonight.
Yeah, for sure. So 11-6 OU versus 9-8 Oklahoma State. The game's at 8 p.m. Central tonight, airing on ESPNU. Oklahoma State given the minus 3-point spread with an over/under of 128 according to Cedar Sportsbook. Oklahoma State getting the favor. What do y'all feel about that?
I was surprised to see that a minute ago that we were favored in this game. I've been looking at Oklahoma State, well, Oklahoma in particular, very closely. They played one of my favorite teams recently and gave us a run for our money in the first half. But they're a real good team. Like, their record may not say it. They're a really good team. This conference is just eating itself alive right now. It's so much talent. It's crazy.
I think that's what I think Vegas and Caesar Sportsbook is just taking a look at the conference and realizing that an away game in this conference is no gimme at all. And it doesn't, you know, even if Oklahoma State has the worst overall record in the conference, it's a talented roster. Every team in this conference is talented, and GIA is a tough place to play, you know. And so it's hard to win on the road. So that's why I think Oklahoma State's getting the favorite here.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely think GIA is one of those main reasons for that. So looking back on this history, I mean, obviously we say it's Bedlam, right? It's the big rivalry. 255th time all-time meeting for Bedlam basketball, all the way back to 1916.
Come on.
Sooners have a 141-103 record in the series, but OSU has won the last 4 of 5.
Wow.
With that recent loss being the very last one, an overtime loss last year.
Okay, yeah.
So recently, Oklahoma State has had success against the Sooners. And then, so with that last game, OU won 66-62. And then the other game last year, OSU pulled out the win 64-55.
Rivalry games always tend to be close.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter, like, what the stipulations are. Like, I mean, one team could be, you know what I'm saying, 1,000,001 or undefeated. I mean, the other team's going to scrap and fight. I mean, especially with it being a home game, too. Like, I can see why they kind of swung it in our favor there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm interested to see how it plays out.
I think, I mean, you're going to get everything from OU and OSU, of course, in this game. Yeah, it's a rival game, like you said. You're going to get 110% from both teams, and both teams know for January it's kind of a must-win. Oklahoma can really cement themselves as a tournament team with a win here. Oklahoma State can put themselves back in the conversation as a tournament team with a win here today.
Yeah, that seems to be a big topic of conversation, is that tournament hopes keeping them alive.
Right.
Because, you know, like you said, OSU trying to keep in the fight, OU trying not to leave the fight. So it is a very kind of tournament aspect type game. So now these are the 2 lowest scoring offenses in the Big 12, but 2 of the 3 best defenses in the Big 12. So obviously we're going to get into strategy and, you know, strengths and weaknesses later, but it seems like this is going to be a big defensive game.
It's going to be a physical dogfight. I mean,
Yeah.
you got 2 teams separated by like a couple hundred miles, if that. I mean, and like you said, 7th and 8th in conference right now. Both teams are in the bottom half of the conference trying to make some headway. I mean, this is where you turn your season around right here. You got to think about it. I mean, a win tonight for either team can be imperative.
Both teams pride themselves in their identity as a defensive scrappy team that they want to control the clock. They're not gonna score 85 points. That's not what they're gonna do. But they're gonna hold you to under 60. That's their goal. And they're gonna play scrappy. They're gonna get a lot of rebounds. It's gonna be physical. I mean, and they're gonna do the right things to win. Both teams are with well coached Porter Moser, of course, at OU, and Mike Boyden here. Very well coached teams. So. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, both Oklahoma State and Oklahoma are combined 3-7 in Big 12 play. So this is a big matchup for both teams to get back on that winning side and really just start excelling in Big 12 play. OU are coming off a win versus West Virginia, but OSU 3 straight losses. So it's a really big matchup of two struggling teams looking to get back on top.
I think injuries play a part in that too.
Yeah,
you got to think about it. We got a stalwart that's not playing right now.
Right.
Hopefully, I mean, he's in the lineup tonight. But I mean, I feel like those 3 games that we lost, like, can be attributed to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Oklahoma, of course, is coming off a 1-point win against West Virginia, and so both teams have that win against West Virginia. And if you want to look at it, well, OSU beat them by 7, OU beat them by 1. That doesn't mean anything. But both teams really need to win here, like we said. It's that simple.
And you mentioned that 1-point win for OU. All 6 of Oklahoma's losses have been by 10 points or less.
Yep.
So they're in close games, win or lose. They're going down to the wire, and that could be a big deal. They're 1-3 in one-possession games, and that one now being West Virginia, earning their first win, this past Saturday. So we've seen really close games from both teams.
Yeah.
So this could be a second half battle.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it, let's see. Only 2 of OSU's losses have they not had the lead with around 10 minutes to go in the second half. K-State and Texas, Virginia Tech, and KU, they all had a lead of around 3 or so, I believe, with around 10 minutes to go. Right. They were in position to win the game. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a really good matchup overall. Like I said, 2 teams at the bottom. We're going to get more later into what each team has to do to win, but I agree with what you're saying. Just a complete dogfight all around. Yeah. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about what each team needs to do to succeed and where this game's going to go from here. So we're going to go to break, but when we come back, more O'Colly Tipoff.
Over the years, we kind of realized that you can get ribs anywhere, you can get a steak anywhere, but you can't always get a Mountain View hot link like ours. So we really decided to focus on that niche and realized we had something really special. So that's when we started focusing more on the hot links, but it's still the same family recipe they were making all those years ago. For us, many of our people that work here have been with us for years and decades. So whereas machines kind of break down over time, the people just get better. And it shows in the products we produce. When you buy a Mountain View product, not only is it going to taste dynamite, but you're also feeding Oklahomans. You're helping employ Oklahomans, and you're helping to fund the state's economy. So what's better than that?
We use the very best of the best ingredients. Demerara sugar is the best that is. Very high quality fruits, berries. The milk we use is the best milk there is. That's why it makes our product stand by itself. I like to make yogurt because I like to eat yogurt. We've been doing this for ourselves for many years because it's a tradition in our family. And we want to have a product which would be very similar to French yogurt, but with our touch of uniqueness, linking our name, our product, with the reputation of the Made in Oklahoma Coalition was probably the best thing we have done as far as promoting our product.
Welcome back to the O'Colly Tip-Off Show. Got a great game tonight. Bedlam, Oklahoma State versus University of Oklahoma. Great matchup overall. Now let's kind of get into what these teams have to do to win. And I think we start with the opponent, Oklahoma Sooners. What stands out to y'all first?
Can I go?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it because, like, I think in show prep we all talked about it. Grant Sherfield is a bucket.
Yeah, he's a bucket. He sure is.
17.6 points coming in, like shooting 44.8% from 3.
Yeah.
we got to find a way to stop him from getting off. That's like just being completely honest. You pair him with Tanner Groves, he can stretch the floor too. Like, we have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I would expect Oklahoma State to key in on Sherfield especially, and of course, that's what you're going to do. You find your best player and key on him. However, they have other weapons. Of course, the Grove brothers, Tanner and Jacob Groves, and as well as a guy that I'm honestly really worried about just because of how versatile he is Jalen Hill. He's a 6'8" forward, and although he's not the biggest, he's going to get a lot of rebounds. He's going to do the dirty work inside. He's a good defender, and he can hit an open three, and he shows the ability to slash. Yeah. So I think if you're not careful, he can really hurt you with the smaller parts of the game, like rebounding and turnovers, things of that sort.
Mm-hmm. Well, as people just saw, OU 7th in the Big 12. Obviously, not something to be taken lightly with how good the Big 12 is. They're 2-5 in their last 5 games, winning versus West Virginia and then Texas Tech in overtime, averaging 69 points per game with a 49% field goal rating. So it seems like they're a good shooting team, and I think their big guy is Grant Sherfield. Another guy to talk about, too, is Milos Uzan. Only a freshman, but he's starting at shooting guard, 6.5 points per game, about 2.8 rebounds. He could be a key factor for them when it comes to shooting.
Definitely got to worry about him too. Yeah. He's also one of the 4 guys that's shooting above 40% from 3. Yeah. So definitely got to watch out for him as well. A guy I was keen in on looking at as well was Bijan Cortez, spark plug off the bench. Yeah. Also shooting 41.12% from 3. Yeah, they got snipers. Like, it's not just the inside game. You don't have just Sherfield going to the rack like that. I mean, you have guys spaced out on the wing that can hit shots. So if the ball's moving, they got opportunity to score.
Yeah, and I think the bench is a really big deal in this matchup. OSU is very versatile and they use their bench players a lot. It feels like, and they're not afraid to do that. So when you come in against a team like the Pokes, your bench also has to be able to step it up. And so when they have shooters and guys who can come off the bench, it makes it a full game of competitiveness.
Yeah, and those guys off the bench for Oklahoma is guys like Bijan Cortez and CJ Nolan, and Sam Godwin. Mm-hmm. Those are the 3 main guys off the bench. CJ Nolan had a great game against West Virginia, and he was a spark plug early on, hit a few threes, got a couple buckets early on to help give Sooners momentum early in that game.
Yeah, no, they definitely have some really good guys. Another guy personally that's really standing out on paper to me, you mentioned him, Tanner Groves. He's starting at center for him, which that could be very interesting with Musa Cisse possibly not starting. Right. Still unknown, probably going to be a game time decision, but Tanner Groves at center, he's averaging 10.5 points as a big man with also 7 rebounds per game. So he seems to be a spark plug for him that they're also not afraid to go to in the paint. And so when you have to have a guy like Tyreek Smith starting, I'm very curious how much of an impact Groves will have.
Absolutely, and that's OU likes to get post touches with Groves down low. I've seen them give ISO looks to Groves in the post, and he has the ability to make post moves. But I do like OSU's athleticism match up with that. We have 2 really good shot blockers, 3 if Cisse plays.
Right.
And that's an interesting piece with a guy like Groves, who is not quite as athletic, but his post moves make up for that lack of athleticism maybe compared to some.
Yeah.
Still 6'10", 240.
Yeah, you're right. He's still 6'10", 240.
Getting that post steal, man, is going to be imperative for them. Like,
absolutely. The
way they like to play through him, kind of like I don't want to give him this much credit, kind of like a Jokic, where they kind of play from the post out. It can hurt us. I mean, it's something we have to worry about. I mean, especially if we're trying to like defend from the back as opposed to fronting the post and getting away from that post entry. I mean, it can be trouble. I mean, and he can step out and stretch the floor a little bit. So
he'll pick and pop.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm looking at some of these guys. It almost reminds me of our team, of Oklahoma State's team. I mean, they have 3 forwards, all averaging over 9 points in the Groves brothers, Jacobs and Tanner, and then Jalen Hill. So, and plus you got the shooter in Grant Sherfield. So their big men seem to be a pretty big role, just as the Pokes is as well.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is when they get these touches inside, what Oklahoma State has to be careful of is, if you collapse on them, you're going to give open looks to guys like Uzan and Nolan and Sherfield, who can hit open threes consistently, and Jalen Hill for that matter.
Cortez too.
Yeah, and a team that they can beat you from outside. I've watched them. They can beat you from outside if you give them the looks.
We having a flashback from us talking about how we should play against Sam Houston State, playing inside out, and OU was going to give us a dose of that tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I said, throwing the ball in. If we collapse, I mean, if he can pass well enough to get the ball to the open shooters, man, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, it's going to be a long night. Another guy that sticks out to me, probably their last starter we haven't truly touched on, is Jacob Groves, the other brother. He's one of those guys that, might not be the standout, but I have a feeling that he could be a make or break type guy in this type of game.
He can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He can really shoot it. He's got a really good release, up high release, and it's quick. He's not afraid to shoot it either. Like, he gets in that corner, he'll put it up quickly.
6'9", 216. He's one of those new age fours that
Yeah.
can space the floor. I mean, I wouldn't call him super athletic. He's athletic enough where he can take you off the dribble too and still be a threat.
Yeah.
I want a pair of 6'9", 6'10" brothers on my team.
Right.
Jeez, I mean, these two,
Kidding,
both
right?
starting, both seniors, just, really running this offense. 4 seniors starting, 5, and then 1 freshman, of course. This team, and it's hard, like I said, it's really hard to compare looking at this Big 12 schedule. I mean, you're playing top-tier teams every day. Like you said, most of these teams are going to be high-seeded in the tournament. And I look back at their schedule, and these losses, they're losses, but man, are they close games.
Ah, no kidding.
So OU's really competing in every single matchup.
One thing I want to point out, looking at their schedule, I mean, there's some close losses there, but this team is littered with transfers. Yeah. Like, you're still trying to gel at this point of the season. Like, you're bringing in, I think over half their roster was transfers. So they definitely have some experience because a lot of those guys are seniors that came in. So just getting them on the same accord, I think Porter Moser is doing a great job to this point in the season where he's getting those guys to gel and kind of get the system down. I think they can be deadly going into March.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that graphic, 1-point game, 2-point game, 3-point game. I mentioned it earlier, but, I mean, all of their losses under 10 points. So they're going to be deadly going forward. But my worry tonight is no matter how this game, starts or is through the middle, whoever takes the lead, they're going to keep it close. And so that's another worry I have with Oklahoma State.
Right.
Is can Oklahoma State keep up with the always pestering Sooners?
Right, and both teams have had a lot of close games.
Yeah.
They're very similar, and it's a matter of both teams. I think it's a matter of putting 40 minutes of basketball together. I think they both had the problem of they have spurts on offense where they're kind of slow or they're very choppy and they don't produce much. And Oklahoma State definitely has been a problem with that, and Oklahoma has as well. So I think the team who puts together the more quality possessions on offense is going to have the best chance to win this game because defense is going to be good from both teams.
I mean, I'm looking at these team stats, and it looks like a copy and paste almost. OU, 69.2 points per game. OSU, 67.9 points per game. Points allowed, 63.5, 62.5. So it's a very, very even matchup. It's just who's going to let their aspects of the game shine, in my opinion. And in my opinion, when you're comparing the two games, it's going to come down to the shooting, and can Grant Sherfield elevate them in those late, minutes?
One thing I looked at too, looking at the stats, one thing that I can say they have an advantage in, turnovers. They only average 12.7 a game versus 13.8 assists. With us, it's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really depends on how the game starts out. If they can come down and hit a few shots, I mean, when you got shooters, it just takes one guy to see one go down for the whole team to get hot. It can be one of those nights. It can be a 2 for 18 night. It really depends.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they have the firepower where that is a threat and something you have to worry about.
You mentioned Sherfield, and Oklahoma is going to do a lot to give Sherfield room to work. He's a great ball handler and is a great shot creator. So OU is going to do what they can to give him room to work, whether that be a dribble handoff at the top of the key or a ball screen, something like that, or even just an ISO where they want to give him a chance to work. And we saw that a lot against Kansas and Texas Tech and all these games in West Virginia where he had 22.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Another big thing it seems to me statistically it might not show too much of a lacking, but rebounding, personally watching these games, it seems like when it comes down to it, we need to have guys who can grab that ball when it comes down to the minutes, and I haven't really been seeing that.
We're missing it.
We're missing it.
I mean, the last 5 or so games, like, we're missing somebody who's definitely that glass cleaner that can get us those rebounds. One thing I was looking at Sheffield that kind of confused me. How does UCLA lose out on a guy like that?
Yeah.
I mean, a former UCLA commit ends up at Nevada. Last year, he averaged 19 and made third team All Mountain West Conference. Like I said, transfers are leading this team right now. He came in as a spark plug early in the season. Has been leading them in scoring, leading them in assists. I mean,
two very kind of different styles in a way when it comes to that aspect. OU fully driven in their recruiting process, and OSU, don't get me wrong, they've recruited, and some big players for OSU are recruited, but it feels more kind of a homegrown type situation for them.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we'll look at Caleb Boone, one of our top players and one of our go-to scorers right now. Tulsa Memorial product. He's a Tulsa kid. And he's not the only kid to come from Oklahoma on this roster.
Yeah, Bryce Thompson got away for a year and then came back.
Yeah, absolutely. Also another Tulsa kid, Booker T. Washington.
Yeah. That question is to be begged about UCLA and Grant Sherfield. My big thing with him too is I've noticed, and it's not always, but it seems like other teams have this one shooter that can really get hot, and we can't stop him. And so we know going in, it shows in the stats that that's going to be the guy. Can we limit him though? 17.6 points per game. He's their shooter. So now you got to make your defense around that.
The one good thing is I believe that we can lean on our defense. That's something we can lean on, I think, in almost every game. We've been able to lean on that in every game, and it's helped keep us in games, was our defense. So I think we have the ability to key in on Sherfield and make him not beat us. But I worry more about, can we limit the other guys where they don't beat us? Because they have more guys that can beat us than just Sherfield.
Right.
Yeah, and I want to go back real quick, one more thing to the Musa Cisse not being in this game. Tanner Groves versus Tyreek Smith in that rebound battle, averaging 3 more rebounds. So it's a question, will Tyreek Smith be able to keep up with the Groves brothers?
Just asking where you down, man. Defending in the post. Just something you got to think about.
Physicality. It's physicality. Find your man, box out.
Yeah,
It's
so
fundamentals of
2
basketball.
brothers, 1 sharpshooter. That's OU's strength. But when we come back, we'll check on OSU and what they have to offer in this hardcore Bedlam matchup when we come back. The Ocala Tipoff.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
We would design something, it was set on the counter, and people was either, if enough of them said, this isn't it never made to the line. Dad was excited that they're all original. They were all designed on Mom's kitchen table, and it gets in your blood after a while.
We're very happy that Pamela and Michael have taken over the business and kept the family going.
We took the business over in 2017. When we found that it was available, we wanted to keep the legacy of family alive, but it was also incredible products that deserved to be a part of Made in Oklahoma's story. We were a part of Made in Oklahoma years ago, and so it kind of grew as Made in Oklahoma grew.
Oklahoma is ingrained into everything that we did. We've been here most of our life. That's what we entailed our whole business on, was the Oklahoma homegrown feeling.
Welcome back to Yo Kali Tipoff. We got a great Bedlam basketball matchup here tonight. And now let's go to the Oklahoma State Cowboys side about what they have to do to win this game. There's a lot we can talk about, and there's a lot we need to talk about. But just kind of to start us off, let's look back at how OSU's been doing. I know we've been talking about it, but some not so close games, high turnover games. Obviously there's a lot, but what's one thing that stands out to you that OSU needs to do for this game?
In all honesty, protect the ball. Yeah. We can't go out there and have more turnovers and assists. I mean, that's like shooting yourself in the foot. Like, you just giving the team other points and then taking bad shots. I mean, we're one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the conference right now. My coach used to tell me, like, a bad three-point shot's like a turnover anyway. So you compound those on the turnovers we already have from not taking care of the ball. Man, we got to do better. Yeah. Protect the rock.
That's something we had trouble with in Baylor and it kind of goes along with the turnovers, is your shot decision. Yeah. And they took a lot of early shot clock threes. Like, early in the shot clock, there was a pull-up three by Ross Thompson or something like that, or John Mucker, and they can shoot. I trust them to make the shot, but I want to see more catch-and-shoot looks. Like, you get an inside post touch, and then you get a catch-and-shoot look off of a dump-out kind of thing, right, or kick-out. That's where I'd like to see three-pointers made.
I mean, I agree. I enjoy our shooters, and I do trust in them. But I'm watching the Baylor game, and it feels like it's a pickup game, just wanting to throw up threes anytime you get the ball.
Right.
So it's about smarter shooting, and like I said, there are shooters on this team that are very capable. Bryce Thompson, Avery Anderson, John Michael Wright, they're very capable. But when you're not, okay, I understand. But in general, when you're not taking smart threes, they are just turnovers.
We talked about it in pregame, man. Certain guys on the team have come into the season shooting more threes and kind of gotten away from what kind of got them there. I mean, you work on it in the off season. I mean, you work on your shot. It's feeling good. Sometimes when it's not going in, man, you kind of got to get off of it a little bit. Like, swing the ball, make the extra pass, free up somebody else. I mean, because it may be somebody else's night. I mean,
if you're like, it's pretty, if you're struggling to make shots, go to the rim.
Get
to the foul. Exactly, right? Go to the foul line. Get good looks or free throws that are, we all can make them, right? Get there, and like in the Baylor game, one positive takeaway from it was I did see Avery Anderson. We had a few possessions where we had taken some bad shots, and he comes in and he had a great drive to the rim and a great finish inside. He's very capable of doing that. I'd like to see that more often. It seems like he almost kind of forgets about it and then comes back to it. I'd like to see it more often.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think, listen, these past couple games, I know Musa Cisse hasn't been playing, but you still have two very capable big men who should be able to drive in the paint, and we should be able to trust in them to feed him. I can't remember which game, but Caleb Boone has a 23-point game against Kansas State because you fed him, you trusted him, and he drove to the rim, and he was able to finish with it. Yeah, go ahead.
That's why I want to see more of is get him the ball. He's a great finisher inside. He has a great drop step move. He's really good in the post, and he has a lot of tough finishes, and he can make free throws too. And he's a momentum player. Those runs we've made against Kansas State and Texas, where we got the lead back, they were led by him. He got some dump off for dunks. He had some great back to the basket post moves. Right. Need to see more of that, I believe, and we have a chance to win this game with seeing him touch the ball more.
A lot of those dribble drives, man, you drop off to your guy in a dunker spot.
There you go.
Those are easy buckets, man. You get your crowd going, you get your team going. Like, we need those type of plays.
Right, yeah.
Like, we need more dish-offs. Like, those are shots that the defense isn't set on you. When you're trying to dance in front of the defender, I mean, he's waiting on that. Like, he dribble in front of me if you want to. I'm going to take it, or you're going to miss a shot. Like,
yeah.
I'm going to put you in a bad position. Like, so we need more ball movement. Like, those dump offs to the dunk man, I mean, those are team motivators right there. We need those.
That's somewhere where, that's somewhere where Musa Cisse will help us a lot if he comes back. He provides that dump off. If you get to the rim, he has very soft hands for a 7-foot big man, and you give him a dump off, he's gonna dunk it.
Just waiting to dunk a spot, man. Take that one step dribble, and it's
there you go. Yeah.
Well, as of 12 minutes ago, Musa Cisse was warming up with the team pregame, trying to test out that ankle, and he's officially a game-time decision. So better than officially being out,
Right.
but it's going to be 50-50. And so I look at that, and I keep going back to Caleb Boone, because even if he does play, obviously we're probably not going to get the 100% Musa Cisse that we're used to.
You never know. So with guys like that, man, I mean, if you watch him on the sidelines during games, he wants to be out there competing. Like, if it's a situation where it's 50-50 and it comes down to him, he's playing.
Yeah.
Like, guys like that have motors, man. I love playing with emotional guys like that, man, because they got your back. He's always at the back of the defense. You can funnel your guy to him. 2.7 blocks a game. Don't listen to the stands. Like, he plays with heart, man, ferocity, man. Like, if he's 50%, 60%, like, you won't see it. Like, it'll feel like 100%.
Yeah. And I think one question to ponder here maybe is, what if maybe he's been able to play, but you don't want to have him at 50% where he could hurt himself long term? You know, maybe you're like, okay, we'll sacrifice him out for 3 games early on in conference play and have him toward the stretch of February where it's a gauntlet.
You got to
right?
kind of protect guys from themselves, too.
Exactly, right.
But I think a big thing, if he plays, obviously he's going to be energetic. He's going to be hype, and he's going to be excited to play out there. And then if you let Caleb Boone, feed on offense, he's going to be excited and fired up. And so then on the other side of the ball, if you have those two super excited to play, those brothers aren't going to be driving to the rim as easy. They're not going to be so, confident in going to the rim when you have 2 guys ready to defend you. So I think offensively and defensively, having those 2 guys at their highest level will definitely be a plus.
Yeah, just imagine, man. You don't start him, and you bring him off the bench at that first media timeout. Oh, the arena's going to be going crazy. In an environment like this,
yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see it.
Absolutely, for sure. And, with Musa Cisse, who is a true rim protector, like you said, 2.7 a game, a couple blocks on Sherfield, he'll be afraid to go back in there. It's like a mental thing. If a couple shots get thrown back in the stands or thrown back at you, you're kind of like, man, I don't know if I want to go back in there. It's a presence. It's a presence.
See a lot of ill-advised 3-point.
Yeah, there you go.
There
Right.
you go, right?
Yeah, it's the presence.
All right, so now kind of on the other side of the offensive ball, I just want to read off some numbers real quick. 23 points, then 15 points, then 5, 5, 9.
Bryce Thompson.
Bryce Thompson. Listen, I personally love Bryce Thompson. I enjoy him on this team. You laugh at it, but I like him, okay? I do. And I saw versus Kansas him really take control of that offense, and then it just went away. So I'm curious personally what happened with that.
Well, no, so you got to look at it. When you go out there and score 23 on Kansas, next game out, they're keying in on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of the best teams in the nation. They're going to look to stop you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm in the same boat with you. I kind of talked about him before the pregame myself and saying we needed more out of him, and he went out there and put up 17. Yeah. So, I mean, with him, it's kind of more about getting the rest of the guys involved as well. I mean, if the ball's moving, they can't key in on you, and then when the time we need you in crunch time, then you go off. Because at that point, everybody is up. Contributing, the ball's moving. It's kind of hard to key in you at that point.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, although Bryce Thompson has had struggled in the last couple games, they will still key in on him because he has the ability to score and hurt you big time. He's a good shot creator and can finish inside, and he can hit a 3-ball. Yeah. He can hurt you, and so you're still going to key in on him no matter if he's had 5 the last 2 games or 25 the last 2 games. And so it's important for if they have keyed in on him completely, we need our guys to step up, and that means a guy like Woody Newton come off the bench, or Caleb Asbury hitting a few threes, or Caleb Boone, Tyreek Smith, John Michael Wright.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think John Michael Wright hasn't shown anything too flashy, but I feel I've seen him very consistent, and I agree. When you can move the ball around, he's those type of players that you look at to step up in those big moments because they're not looking for him.
Right.
Yeah.
34.1% from 3. Yeah. You can shoot when we need you to.
Yeah.
Like we just need to get to that point where I need to step up. Plain and simple.
One thing I'm seeing here on the graphic, he's almost 92% from the free throw line. Get to the free throw line.
confidence builder. I mean,
Absolutely, right?
When you miss him, man, you just need 2 bunnies.
Yeah.
2 easy ones to go down for you. That can get you right where you need to be.
Yeah, get to the rim. You know, you catch on the wing and a guy's bad closeout, rip through, go to the rim, and go up strong.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things he was brought in to shoot, but now I think obviously still to shoot, but more kind of be a leader aspect in a way with the offensive ball. I mean, some guys might not have it right that night. We've had some hot and cold guys, so hopefully John Michael Wright can be one of those guys you can look to keep that team together and say, okay, let's score, bounce back, and stay in the game.
When I talked to the team during preseason, they were just raving about his passing ability. I mean, you were brought in to be essentially this team's floor general and point guard. Bryce Thompson still leading the team in assists. I mean,
Well,
we kind of need you to be a stabilizing force. I mean, in a perfect world, Bryce Thompson would be on the wing, not handling the ball as much. I mean, he's still deadly with the ball in his hand, creating his own shot. But just having a point guard kick that to you off of penetration, I mean, it's an easier shot for you. I mean, numbers kind of work themselves out at that point.
Right. Now, I want to talk about another guard. You talked about a point guard stepping up. I have some personal frustrations with Mr. Avery Anderson.
okay, yeah.
Listen, he's a senior. He's been here since the Cade Cunningham years. He knows what it's like to succeed. I'm still waiting for Avery Anderson to be the guy. I'm still waiting for him to step up and be the leader. I feel like our most successful runs is when he's not in at point guard and when we have a guy like Chris Harris Jr. leading the court. So he's not doing bad, but I'm waiting for him to be great for OSU.
I think so too, and I had really high hopes from him this year. You know, he played pretty good last year in a season where we had not much to look forward to not being able to play in the postseason. And so I was really excited for him to be the leader of this team, and right now I have not completely seen it. However, that doesn't tell me that he's not there because I've seen sparks and moments of it. You know, he has flashes of it where his best game is getting to the rim. And I don't think it's a question. I don't believe that he's a guy who can pull up from 3 after a couple crossovers. I don't believe that's his game. I think if he can get the rim, get the free throw line, he's very good inside, he's acrobatic. That's where I'd like to see him flourish and be successful, and I believe that can create open looks for other guys as well.
I don't make this a bash fest, but man, you shooting 17% from 3, and like you're going out there, you're shooting what is it, 6 threes, 5 threes, and you're shooting a low percentage.
Yeah,
kind of take one more dribble, man. Make that mid range.
Yeah. It's a good question. So, you know, you ask, can OSU make the shots? Can they defend? Well, we'll find out. More OSU, more Bedlam after this final break.
My name is James Ramidi. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all 3 met, the 3 owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and you know, Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the tees, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get, you know, everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, you know, being the owner, owning something that, you know, is able to impact other people's lives, and, you know, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number 1 items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Welcome back to the O'Callaghan Tipoff Show. We got our final segment here, Bedlam basketball tonight. We talked OU, we talked OSU. Let's talk a little bit more OSU, and then let's get a little national, why don't we, for the final segment. So we talked about shooting. We talked about defense. What's maybe one more thing, maybe not straighten the numbers that you see for the Pokes to do tonight to succeed?
Rebound the basketball. Get second chances.
Oh, we got a little breaking news from off camera. We said we got some breaking news. So 15 minutes ago, we said Musa Cisse, game time decision. It is just officially announced Musa Cisse will be starting.
Let's get a little fist bump in.
Come on, Tiger
Woods fist bump.
Huh? I mean, this is a really big deal. We talked about if he play, he could be an energy maker, and now he's starting.
That's big time. That's so huge.
Yeah.
That is big time. I'm so happy.
No, it's going to be really good. I mean, you're coming off not playing for 3 games. You talked about how excited he looks, and so now he gets that chance to do it and in Bedlam.
He's going to play with a ferocity tonight, man. He's coming with it. You can already tell.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him tonight. He's ready to go. You saw him on the bench. He's ready to go.
Let me download my ticket now, man.
Download my ticket now.
Well, back to our regularly scheduled. So you say rebounds, right, for key to the game. What about you, Steve? What do you got with that?
I agree with rebounding, but that just turned it around too, man. I mean,
yeah, it did.
You get your leading rebounder back and leading shot blocker. I mean, that's right along with it.
Yeah. For me, obviously, I think rebounds is a big thing. My kind of key to the game with it too is I think smart 3-point shooting. That's my big thing. I mean, I'm sitting there over Christmas break with my dad, sitting back watching the Baylor game, and it looks like I'm like, is this a college basketball team shooting threes? So, and we we have shooters. It's just about taking those smarter shots on the court.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of an NBA game, and that's not a good thing. I don't think it's not a good thing.
All right,
only NBA game right here, man.
I like
the NBA, but the way the game is played in the NBA is a lot different than college. What I was
it's a lot more ISO, a lot less system basketball.
Right.
Well, back to kind of the college basketball side, we talked about make or break game tournament for OSU OU. Let's kind of talk about it over around the league, what's been happening. A big thing, first off, last night, Kansas State versus Kansas. What a game.
What a great game, and that was so awesome. A great alley-oop finish by Johnson for K-State over KU's leading scorer, Jalen Wilson, to take the lead with 20 seconds to go, and then a turnover to win the game in the octagon of doom. That was a great finish in a hostile environment.
That win last night gave Kansas State the lead in conference play as of right now, and they were led in that game by my guy, Desi Seals, former Arkansas Razorback.
Yeah.
25 last night against Kansas.
25?
Wow, yeah. And another in-conference thing happening right now that I'm actually seeing, 8 minutes left in the game, West Virginia, who both the Oklahoma teams have beat, are leading the 14th-ranked TCU Horned Frogs 58-49, up by 9 on a ranked opponent.
This conference is madness, man.
It's madness, and we all know Morgantown is a hard place to play.
Yeah,
we all know that, and every game – it's just there's no way to really predict it because anything can happen in this conference. That's the wild thing about it. There's no bad team. There's no mediocre team in my opinion. Every team is good and they have ability to beat anyone.
I think looking at from the outside in, this conference is pretty much stacked top to bottom. Yeah. That's why they're so highly ranked still. I think right now KenPom has us 55 in the KenPom ratings. I mean, so a lot of people still respect Oklahoma State, even going to the tournament with our record as it is right now.
Yeah. And so continuing on Big 12, 2 more games happened last night for Big 12 play. Iowa State, who was ranked 12th compared to UT 7, beat UT by 11, 78-67. So that's a nice little – I wouldn't even call it an upset, honestly. They're so evenly ranked, both high-ranked. Iowa State still a team OSU is yet to play. They're looking stronger and stronger with each game.
Yeah, and Iowa State, they're back to where they were a few years ago. They had a rough stretch a couple years where they weren't quite as good, and they're back to it. They've got some great stores. including Griot, and excuse me, and I'm just excited to see, especially when they come to Stillwater. I'm excited to see how the Cowboys match up against them later on this year.
Yeah. And then last game, Baylor taking care of business once again, beating Texas Tech 81-74. They're seeming to shape up. They're only ranked 21st, but they're seeming to get hot as well.
Texas Tech is the only team I can say right now just struggling right now overall in conference play. Yeah. Right now, they're going through a transition. Just hired their new coach last year. Doesn't seem to be going as well this year.
Yeah, both West Virginia and Texas Tech currently winless in Big 12 play. But like I said, West Virginia has a chance to get in that win column for the first time in Big 12 play. So more nationally, sticking out to me right now, just happened today, Seton Hall, who's currently unranked but always kind of a good basketball team, beating UConn by 67-66. Max.
Wow.
You got a wow for that,
That's Seton Hall is a team they're like the same record as Oklahoma State. They're 9-8, and they have a loss to Oklahoma as well earlier in the season. So that win's looking better for OU now, in the Big 12 standpoint. A Big East, another really great conference, a lot of great teams. It's a gauntlet there too, and it's a tough place to play, Seton Hall.
So if you think about Seton Hall, you got to think about their roster got overhauled this offseason. That team got a new coach in the offseason as well. Former player, I forgot his name off the top of my head right now. He was a coach at St. Peter's last year. Took that team deep into the what was it, Elite Eight or Final Four?
Elite Eight. Yeah, Elite Eight. So. St. Peter's 15 seed. Yeah, Elite 8.
So Seton Hall, man, I mean, they're carrying it over.
Yeah.
All right, continuing nationally. Now, those were kind of my big scores to report. Just as you're watching college basketball, so many good games, so many upsets so far. Obviously, we're about halfway through the season. It's the March Madness. It's the tournament. It's so unpredictable. But is there maybe a handful of teams that you guys are really looking out for?
You know I'm looking out for my Razorbacks, man.
Of course.
I mean, coming into the season, they were projected to go as far as the Final Four. That team, they brought in, what was it, 5 or 3 Don's All-Americans. Number 2 recruiting class in the nation. Lost 2 NBA players to injury. So kind of on the snide right now. They actually have the same conference record as OSU right now.
Yeah.
Another team that kind of shocked me a little bit has been Alabama.
Yeah.
They're looking really good. Really good.
Yeah, I mean, 15-2. They're ranked.
Obliterated Kentucky.
Yeah, and they obliterated LSU, they're 12-5. They got some wins.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick. Something I just noticed. Houston and Kansas 1-2, and Houston joined the Big 12 next year. So if we didn't talk about how good the Big 12 is already, we're about to add in a top-ranked team as well.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, we lose, Oklahoma and Texas and replace them with another top-ranked team. Like, man. But a team, going off what Steven said, a team that I'm interested in that I think will make the tournament, although they kind of hit a skid in December, they've got a lot of talent on the roster, especially that starting 5, is Creighton. Another team in the Big East. I think it's a lot of wins. They've got some talented players. I believe RJ Nembhard is my eyes, one of the top point guards in the country. You say what you want. I believe he is, and he's a great scorer, including Kaluma as well, who's another good slasher for them. And I'm just interested to see what they can do in the Big East. I think they can cause some havoc in the tournament as well, no matter where they are in the tournament.
They played against Arkansas in one of the best games of the Maui Invitational, too.
Yeah, I watched that game. That was a really great game.
It was overtime, right?
Yes, it did. And Creighton hung out and won. And then Creighton ended up losing. I forgot who they lost to in that tournament. Which, of course, Maui Invitational, of course, another really
team joined the Big 12 that's also having a pretty good season so far. Cincinnati, up 85-69 right now in South Florida.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't mean to stop the national talk, but I have some, I guess, quote-unquote, more breaking news. The starting 5 for OSU has been announced. You ready? Avery Anderson, Bryce Thompson, John Michael Wright, Woody Newton.
Whoa.
Caleb Boone.
Okay, so Moosa's off the bench and Tyreek off the bench.
I guess so. It's very interesting. Woody Newton getting first start of the year? I believe so.
I wonder if it's – so I guess it must be for matchup purposes. I assume Woody Newton will be guarding Tanner Groves, excuse me, and then Caleb Boone on Tanner Groves, and then of course the guards and the guards. Interesting there. Woody Newton's played well. He's gotten a lot of rebounds.
Yeah. He's come back really well from being injured at the beginning. He had to kind of get thrown back in, but he seemed to really pick it up, and the rebounds have been a big part of his game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and then from the OU side, it's kind of what we expected. Jalen Hill, Milos Uzon, Grant Sherfield, and then the two Groves brothers, Jacob Groves and Tanner Groves. Snipers are big,
man.
It's very interesting.
It can hurt you from three, man.
I'm still very shocked about the Woody Newton. I do completely understand, I guess, not starting Mousse, letting him come off the bench. But Tyreek now has had three games to really be a starter. I guess maybe he just hasn't shown the improvement that they've wanted.
You know, you said it earlier, like Musa coming off the bench and how excited the crowd can get.
It's going to be a sport.
If they're not aware that Musa is playing and then he comes in off the bench with, 50 minutes to go in the first half, this place might explode.
You know what I want to see?
It might explode.
I want to see, have you seen the Taco Fall clip, him coming off the bench for the first time?
Yeah.
I want to see Mike Boynton getting the crowd hyped to send Musa Cisse into the game.
I want to see it.
It's going to happen, I'm telling you.
We need the crowd behind us. We really do. That's our biggest advantage tonight, I believe, is the fact that we're the home team.
Yeah.
That's our biggest advantage.
Now, okay, little old school banger bus question, basically.
Oh, man, football, here we go.
As much as I don't think we should, if OSU wins the game, it's the court getting rushed.
Please no. It's like you've been there before.
I say please no too, but OSU hasn't had a win in a minute.
I don't believe we will. I mean, because we don't want to. I believe that Oklahoma's 11-6. It's not like you're beating the second-ranked team in the country.
Yeah.
However, hey, if we get KU here and somehow upset them, let's run the court. Yeah. Let's run it.
I don't want to be the old man saying get off my lawn, man, but I agree. You only storm the court, man, for like big.
Yeah.
Big. Oh, this is a big game. Don't get it twisted. But they're one place ahead of us in conference. Mm-hmm. I mean, I get it. It's a rival school. Yeah. But come on.
This is a big game for our tournament hopes, but this isn't a game that, we were the favored team, you know?
Yeah. So you said big game. It really is. All right, I want to hear some quick score predictions. What are we feeling for this amazing Bedlam game?
65-69 us.
Okay. What do you got?
I like 67-63 us. Okay. I just can't see anyone getting the 70s.
I'm going to say 71-68. I'm going to go a little higher score just because if we need a chance, I feel like Sherfield's going to get them up in those higher 60s, maybe 70s.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that, he can absolutely do that. I just think that, both these teams rely on their defense, and I don't believe it won't be a fast game, I don't think.
Well, we got Bedlam basketball, great game tonight. Thanks for tuning in to the Ocali Tip-Off.
Go Pokes.
Hi, I'm Amanda Akins. I'm the owner of Hurricane Dixie Leather. I started this company back in about 2015, and I think that one of the most unique things about our store is that we're not just your everyday mom and pop leather shop. We use a lot of color and unique techniques that set us apart from others. We are a full Wrangler retailer. We have lots of Wrangler jeans and shirts. We've also got some other fun boutique clothes, and everything, all the leather goods in the store are made here in the shop. We also accept custom orders.
Our state is one of the most beautiful and unique states in the USA. With diverse geographies, the historic Route 66, unforgettable restaurants, and some of the greatest people on the planet. With so much to see and so much to do, living in Oklahoma means one of the best vacation spots is right in our own backyard. Doesn't this story need to be told? As filmmakers and photographers based right here in Oklahoma, we thought so. And hey, who doesn't like a good road trip? So, we packed up our cameras, teamed up with Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell and the Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department, and that's how this series was born. We want to show you why traveling within the great state of Oklahoma is a great idea. So come join us for thousands of miles over the next year, from Broken Bow to Black Mesa. This is the Oklahoma Road Trip.